know how I do.
Let's get cracking!
Welcome everybody here to our coverage of the D2CL as we are going into another great night of games. We'll be kicking off our week with Cloud9 versus Power Rangers. Power Rangers, a team which at this point could be causing a rather large upset with the teams potentially qualifying for the final playoffs, not to mention the team which could potentially take #1 position and qualify directly for DreamHack Bucharest. Power Rangers in a very, very good position after their first couple of matches. How will they go right now? Well, they're up against a team which seems to be getting more and more in form as games go on, and that is Cloud9, and of course, it just wouldn't be a Cloud9 cast if I didn't have this man join me. He just popped into the chat and said, hey, I'm free and ready to go for a Cloud9 game, and it's Clairvoyance, man. Welcome to your team.
Toby, glad to be here as always, and honestly, it's unfortunate I couldn't catch the games yesterday. I was out on my personal businesses, but here I am, back on track, ready to witness another D2CL match with you, my friend. Cloud9 versus Power Rangers. And I believe the last time we faced up against Power Rangers, we actually went 20-2 in the kill board.
I do not remember that game.
Yeah.
I do.
It was a very quick game. I think it was about a week ago for the ESL or something like that.
As far as the last game between Cloud9 and Power Rangers that I have in record, there was a game 3 days ago during Star Series. You played, yeah, it was a 1-0 to Cloud9, and then you have to go back 6 months before that.
Okay, it might have been 3 days ago, my bad.
I
remember the kill score was like 20-2. It was a pretty big stomp, I think.
Well, let's see if these boys can get over the stomp, because Power Rangers are a rather resilient crew when it comes to Dota. And, well, so far, they're actually looking pretty damn good. They've actually played 2 series in the D2CL so far. They've managed to go 3-1, so that's 3 wins in total and 1 loss in total. So they're looking pretty damn good. Now, at this point, they're in 3rd position. Team Reno Tinkerino currently have the #1 position with 6 wins and 4 losses.
5 seconds remaining.
But as far as the rest of it go, it's Team Empire, Fnatic. They're the only ones that still stand a chance of just toppling the #1 position. Cloud9 have the potential where they could get themselves up into the top 5. But they had a pretty rough start up against Team Reno Tinkerino. The reason why Team Reno Tinkerino is 6-4 is because Cloud9 actually got decimated by Team Tinker 0-2 the other night.
Last night, yeah. And then make that 0-3 in the Star Ladder follow-up. That was a rough series of games.
We'll see if... maybe I shouldn't have said like Cloud9. Looking like they're getting some better form after the matches that did happen last night. That's
Well, we'll see if that's the case this game. You know, they opened up with a classic, which is the Razor Enigma. A very strong set of heroes on the dire side. Whereas Power Rangers just going back on the TI flavor of the... what seems like a year now is actually just a tournament that's been followed up by the season, is the Void and the Skyrath together.
I'm actually... You'd be really surprised how little I've seen this combination. Mainly because of bans, like either the Skyrath's taken out or the Void's taken out in the first set. And no one really seems to be that confident to pick up both of them together, apart from the old school
kids.
It's
certainly not as common as TI, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I would say one of the reasons it's fallen off is due to the fact that people are beginning to learn to circumvent around the Skyrath mage. If you really do avoid the way this hero is played oftentimes, and the primary example I can point out to is actually Na'Vi. If you can just avoid the first couple of minutes of disaster that they try to force on you by ganking every single lane, then what happens is you have this under-leveled single-target hero that has really, really good nukes still and can maneuver very well, but at the same time is not the best to these anchor pushes that are being put out by heroes like Enigma, Jakiro, Razor, Death Prophet, Venomancer, you know, you name these heroes, and yeah, they force the tower objective on you, and it's hard to respawn. But Centaur is a hero that often helps prevent a lot of these bad situations for Skywrath, because that hero is also amazing. And those three heroes are very common to be picked up these days together.
I'm interested to see how they're going to run the lanes then. I've been casting some decent Chinese Dota over the last, well, the morning, since 7 AM in the morning. We're on 11 hours right now on the live streams.
How were those games, by the way? I tried to join, but couldn't make the schedule for myself.
Most of them were stomps.
Are they?
Just put it very, very simply. Tongfu, I think Cap put it perfectly, they'll have trouble walking for a while. It really wasn't enjoyable. And Invictus Gaming, man, LGD, they bent them over backwards and smacked them with 3 paddles. It was not a... Yeah, I really haven't seen Invictus Gaming get that destroyed by LGD in a long, long time.
You know that new LGD team is actually wrecking in China, and I know WEC kind of put them in their tracks because they didn't go too far in the tournament, but they were destroying everybody before, and I'm sure that they're going to continue to do so until the next Chinese, which I believe is WAC coming up in October.
WAC? We got I-League coming up in a cup.
Oh yes, I-League, and then there's actually another one right after that. I think it's like a $400,000 tournament.
I-League's actually next weekend. It's 25th to the 28th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have I-League coming up, and we actually have the finals of Cena Cup on Sunday, on the 21st.
Oh, it's been a while since that's been running, huh?
Yeah. Well, it only just started this morning. It started this morning. That's why we had our wonderful 7 AM starts, and we're pulling double shifts here at the Joint Order office to make sure we can cover all of this kind of stuff. Which is
stay strong, Toby.
I'm trying. I am trying. But we get an early night tonight, so it's okay. Meanwhile, back at the draft, Cloud9 going in for this Wraith King. I'm seeing this guy appear more and more. That guy not as much more and more. I know as one of Fader's old school heroes, but I believe you, Cloud9 actually plays him as a support hero.
Yeah, we have. The real time when I say we, I mean everyone in general, noticed this Beastmaster was back when Excalibur was ringing for Fnatic, and NoTail played this Beastmaster that was dedicated to this stacking position 6 or position 7 in the game, and somehow he caught up with the levels and farm, because not only did he get stacks, but he just kept walking into lane, casually kicking people out of the lane, and they just have to walk out because they can't fight this Beastmaster with his superior movement speed and armor. So it was interesting to see back then. Now, this game, though, I do want to talk a little bit about the Wraith King, because looking at this Cloud9 lineup right now, our lane presence, ironically, so once again, what a surprise. Our laning phase doesn't seem to be the best in terms of heroes. Whereas Power Rangers, it seems like they've got all the tools they need to win the laning stages. Now, whether Cloud9 can just do what they usually do and try to exploit the lanes by trying to stay alive the best they can, and even if they feed, just get objectives on other parts of the map, only time will tell. Because going up against the Viper lineup, first of all, Wraith King is terrible against Viper. It's just like you get forever kited, even if you're a support and you blink, there's just not much of a follow-up after the stun, because you end up inevitably slowing yourself with the follow-up on the damage of the stun. And secondly, Centaur is just ridiculously good against most of Cloud9's lineup right now, because even though it's going up against all these tanky strength heroes, they just don't have much solutions for a Centaur either. So it's really going to come down to the first 5 minutes of this game, how the lanes go. And right now, I'm favoring Power Rangers a lot in this department. And I know Fearin is banned, so they probably won't be able to pick that up. But they've already got a handful of cores, so it looks like they're going to focus a little bit more on the lanes even. Go with the Lich. And once again, just place a heavy emphasis on their first 5 minutes.
I'm actually surprised the Power Rangers do go for the Lich. Mainly because he's a little bit too passive for the Power Rangers lineup. But I suppose when you're running a Void, a Centaur, and a Viper, you kind of need to be passive and controlling in your first, like as you said, like 5 minutes is the main thing for them. If they can survive that long, you should be getting the Voids to somewhere near level 6. The Centaur as well. And the Centaur, you can hope he can get himself a Blink Dagger at some rate. And then the Viper just does Viperish things in the middle lane. And it's not as though Cloud9 really have a lineup which is going to roam and gank him. If this is in fact a Beastmaster as a support, then you are really lacking stuns from Cloud9. Like, there's little to no lane presence at all from these boys. And if they sit back and farm up, I'm not quite sure if they really get the upper hand here. Because the Skywrath and the Lich will be blocking up like the Ancient Pool spot. So they won't be able to have that. No matter how hard they try, they shouldn't be able to get that point, get that area.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 really needs a range hero right now. Although, once again, just looking at the lanes, I'm not sure
10
what can actually
seconds
salvage
remaining.
the situation. One of the heroes that I would imagine, for example, the Nature's Prophet, which
5
can give you a lot
seconds
coming into the
remaining.
minutes after 5 minutes. It's banned out by their own. And Storm Spirit, that is a really scary pick here. And the reason I say that is because Storm is honestly not good against 4 of those heroes. Maybe Lich, and it's just the situation because Lich is Lich. She's kind of weak against everybody after a certain point in the game. But Storm against Void, you know, you have to face up against high armor and backtrack. Against Viper, you can't burst him down, so Storm uses all his mana and he can just sit there and die. And against a Skywrath,
Prepare
you really
for
can't do much
battle.
until you have an Orchid or a Linken's to be able to prevent that Ancient Seal from getting off, because when he gets silenced, he goes down pretty fast.
That's why I don't understand the pickup either. Why would you grab such a hero when you got so much control on the other side?
That's a scary one. I don't want to judge too much on the basis yet. I feel like I understand their game plan is that they just want to focus on all lanes having some sort of presence, or enough so that all their heroes are kind of juggled around on the side of PR, thinking that maybe we have to gank up every single lane and they can't possibly do so. And after level 6, this Enigma, this Storm, and this Beastmaster and Razor, they can actually kind of do their own thing in their lanes. So not everybody can get picked off at once. But even still, the lanes are very weak on the side of Cloud9 right now.
Yeah. I'm wondering if Power Rangers are going to give them the space. So far, we
30
only see
seconds
one
to
Vision
battle.
Ward coming up from PR, and they're going to give Owie his entire jungle. So they're not coming in there to contest it at all. In fact, it's going to be Cheshire Cat is taking the Centaur to the off lane. It looks like it's going to be a dual lane, even though J4 is pretty well back in the lane. So he potentially could just move towards the bottom lane, but they could just run Lich as well as Centaur on that off lane, dual lane together. So the Void takes up the middle lane, and that leaves Moon as the Viper on the bottom
battle
lane.
begins.
So it's like PR are also looking for a better matchup in the mid lane up against the Razor. Someone that can at least escape from that static link, which is actually is the only hero as the Faceless Void.
Double damage.
In terms of leaping away, that's certainly true, but I'm not sure how much I like this matchup coming out of them. I think the best decision for them would have, if they wanted to put the Void in, at least put the Lich mid, or just put the Viper mid and then have the Skywrath zone out the Razor for a bit. Because if you put Void, I mean, that leap is only reliable for however much mana you have. Like, if you build into like a bottle or something at mid as Void, it just doesn't help you scale that well in terms of the purpose of the game in the long run. So, not sure about this decision.
Maybe they're just trying to find just that quick early level 6 over on him. And then they move him towards the bottom lane while Moon gets a nice start, and then they'll rotate him out. But by the way, Bone 7 not looking too healthy on this off lane. And we didn't actually flag the fact too that Cloud9 are going to be running that Beastmaster as a core off laner. Which means you get an extra sun into the support lineup, which is going to be Pylite Eye.
Yeah,
So
if it was a support Beastmaster with a support Wraith King, that's going back to the support Tinker days. Those weren't the best days.
Oh, Bone's in trouble. Bone's actually in a lot of trouble. That poison attack slowing him down a hell of a lot. The concussive shot's all about is just setting it all up. But this is not a simple lane for him at all.
Honestly though, PR, like, while they're doing okay in the lanes, I did not emphasize this before, because usually enemy teams ward the jungle against the Enigma, but this game, yeah, this Enigma getting free reign in the jungle reminds me of that Tinker game where even though they were like 30 down in kills, this Enigma getting the farm that he needs, he will be able to carry on the game through the mid stages with an early mech.
I'm still interested to see if that's going to be enough. Like, you can pick up an early mech, but you've still got a huge amount of control coming out from Power Rangers. And their high maneuverability is going to make it very difficult to catch out any kind of black hole. Not to mention the fact you've still got Seal, you've still got Mystic Flare, and everything else we just 6 going to be throwing at him. You got Chrono Control, you've got Centaur Ultimate. So getting close in is going to be really difficult as well. I'm just not gonna. I'm understanding the like the economy side of things, and yes, Owie, we know he's lightning fast inside the jungle, which is also surprising that he went for a point up in Maleficent as opposed to just chopping down these tree lines with Midnight Pulse early on. So it's like he wants to come out a little bit earlier to initiate. Paradise's also gonna be really sad. There's a Sentry Ward watching his Invis Rune movement on that top lane, so he can't find an opening either.
Surprised to see though that the Cloud9 roster has a huge advantage of the safe lane so far. I mean, the Storm is not only free farming against the Lich, who's been denying creeps, but overall there seems to be not much of an aggression attempt coming out of PR. So I think how they're playing this lane kind of defeats the purpose of what they wanted to accomplish. And I would say like a Lich movement out of this lane to maybe help the Void at mid is probably wise, because even though he's doing all these leaps, Toby, you see his mana right now, he's got enough to regen about one more time on the time walk. And after that, you know, he's still gonna get zoned out by the Razor, because his Razor is 3 times the CS and only gonna grow into a bigger difference.
It's the 14-9 up against the 4-for-1. Like that's crippling. That's crippling for a Void. The Viper would be very, very different. But I'm fairly certain Power Rangers thought they can get some kills with just the concussive shot as well as poison attack for the Viper. But they went for it while the poison was still at level 1. Like, it wasn't the level 2 poison attack coming out from the Viper. So they didn't really have that much control of this offlane Beastmaster.
Oh, Ouija Zig is doing something really nice though. I've never seen the trees actually get cut by that path. The only way this kind of pull is possible is when you get the ranged troll trappers. And yeah, the Dark Troll Summoner, there it is. It's a really nice pull for him.
So you basically just bypass the top and you pull out to the side is what you're talking about.
Yeah, the only way you can do it is by tanking aggro from the creep wave, and it was the perfect creep that spawned.
Well, for now, everyone's still going to remain chilled with 4 minutes in, no kills. Aoi 2000 progressing nicely as far as CS goes. Almost up at level 6, which isn't too shabby when you're only 4 minutes into the game. I don't know how long Power Rangers can just be so passive.
Yeah, given their choices of heroes, they're playing very docile kind of thing, as you said, passive, not getting much done in terms of what they seem like they wanted to do with their picks. And you know what, this Void actually did get the bottle. This kind of Void, like it actually hurts the gameplay so much, and I don't see them making kills right after 6, even if the bottle comes back and he's fully charged. This matchup overall, it never sets up for a good pace of the game.
And Pylite Eye, his move must be as horrendous. After Frostblast, he drops down to 210, while Cheshire Cat's running around with 390. Even the base movement, because he has Naboots, is 300 at the moment. So Cheshire Cat looked like he was running with Stampede next to him with just base movement. Bone 7 also getting a little lucky there. If we just sick moved up, then they could have potentially killed him off just then. It would have been concussive, a lot of orb spam. Looks like the first kill is actually going to come out from, well, potentially Aoi 2000. Look at his rotation. He's in the middle lane, dropping down the observer ward so we can see what's there. The courier's making its way up, but it's going to go straight into the black hole. Committed up, so Fader gets the first blood. There's a plasma field available too, and the courier actually got trapped inside the hole too. They'll get the attack up, and this is a big win right now. Haste rune from Fader, running into the tree line. He'll have some time to actually use a couple of these bottle charges. Waiting it out with We Just Sick. And Aoi is still around here in the mid lane. I don't know if he's going to try and force the issue. Yep, plasma field up, We Just Sick. Throws out a concussive shot, but that's not going to stop Fader. He's still on haste. And following We Just Sick as the tree line, Aoi cannot go in that deep. Especially with the Faceless Void coming back with Chrono available. Surprisingly, he didn't throw that over the top of the Enigma. First blood goes the way of Cloud9 plus Courier.
Yeah, and that's, mind you, a level 7 Enigma now who's going to resume farming the jungle with 1000 gold. So, due to the first 5 minutes just not, you know, it seemed like nothing actually happened. Nothing bad in general, but once again, given the picks, PR really needed to put on the aggression, and the fact that they didn't press the right pedal means that Cloud9 with these greedy picks, they're gonna just get a huge advantage coming into the second daytime, which is coming up in about a minute or so. All the vision on the map is gonna be given to them with the Beastmaster, in addition to the Hawk, and then they're just gonna be able to react to every gank, because a Skywrath Lich gank is really, really obvious. Even with Stampede, they need to put a lot of resources in terms of just heroes and raw numbers and spells just to get a kill at this point, because Cloud9 heroes are so tanky at this point.
So I really wasn't so sure about the Lich pickup. There's a little bit of a circle coming out saying they should check for Roshan. Potentially, yeah, we could go for a quick one, but he's gone back into the jungle, dealing with a stack. He also got one of the best camps, the Enigma, the Alpha Wolf. Damn, I love those camps as an Enigma. But he's going to get a lot of farm from this, and now it's just building into the mech. So it's soaring. There's nothing over on the courier, so he's still working from pretty much scratch for this. But I thought he'd have more money than that. Then again, he did buy the mech recipe, so that's where a large amount of money went out from. Fader, Chrono's available. They will get the kill there, but there's double TPs coming in. The Chrono will be committed, and Fader tanking it up. He's got a DD rune up his sleeve. We Just Sick being dragged back in again. Fader does go down, but the Skywrath's already taken a fall. And faces forward up on top of the hill.
Yep. Their heroes are just so under leveled, and they simply don't have enough burst damage at this point to take out targets. So even if they get the Razor kill like that, they'll not only lose their one hero, but now with the movement coming in from the Enigma as well as the Cloud9 safe lane, they can pressure out the tower and force even more TPs. So overall, in terms of objective, Cloud9 is taking a huge lead with this Beastmaster pushing out his lane. In the meantime, Centaur is pushing out his respective lane as well, but he's already committed to Stampede, so he no longer has that kind of solo kill potential he wanted to have.
Actually, kind of forgot about Bone7. Notice a lot of heroes were coming in towards that middle lane. You notice the Void also like jumping around for some initiations. He's going to make the most out of the end of this haste rune. He needs some time locks, but right now, they got one backtrack and that was it. And Bone7 is still running out of here. And he won't go down. He could actually end up using his Soul Ring and turn... Actually, no, the Soul Ring's already been used. So he can't turn for the Raw.
No, but he's still doing fine. I think he's looking to stack the Ancients again. He just got awarded, so that's unfortunate for him.
Jump on middle lane. He's going to go for Moon. And while at the same time, Paladai comes in for the Hellfire Blast. And well, Envy?
Oh, the forever kiting.
He didn't want to stick there. Now Paladai is just ticking. And he will go down. Envy. No denial.
Yeah, can't deny that unless it's Viper Strike.
Yeah.
But
well, he threw the Viper Strike, but he threw it over on Envy.
Yeah. See, that's the thing with playing Wraith King. It's like, it's very reminiscent of when you play Queen of Pain. It's like you drop a Shadow Strike and then you think you're gonna do damage, but all of a sudden you start taking more hits and you just wish it would stop, but it doesn't. And with the thing with Wraith King Hellfire Blast is, for 2 seconds after the stun lands, it does damage, which forces the corrosive skin out of the Viper. So not only the Viper reduces the slow damage and he gets slowed himself, but he also applies that slow to the Wraith King, who more or less is usually very, very close in proximity to the right-click range of a Viper. So he just gets kited in all the time. Even if Wraith King respawns, this kind of thing happens with Wraith King versus Viper in any scenario at any given time. It's that the Viper always just kites the Wraith King. So it's so annoying to play this Wraith King hero against the Viper.
Bone7's just realized that his ancient area has been...
Oh, round 2 at mid though.
Yeah, they just jumped. Paladai was close enough just to get a straight Hellfire Blast on the Moon, which means Envy was the follow-up. But this Observer Ward on the Dire Side Ancients has just been pinged out as well by Bone7. He tried to do the farm and stack at the same time. So it just flagged to him that the camp didn't restack.
Well, looks like he's going to go for another Axe rotation, I believe. There it is.
Even if he can't stack the camp anymore, he may as well try and farm it up. I'll be interested to see if Power Rangers want to try and do anything about this. They don't have the vision up there, but they will have to know.
I don't even think they have the right heroes to contest, because even if they commit their ultimates for that stack, first of all, they kill the hero, they can't even get the stack given all their single target heroes, and secondly, they'll just be so far off the map that the Cloud9 roster would just push out the different sides of the maps.
Should flag the fact that Aoi still hasn't left that jungle. He's the highest net worth over on Cloud9 right now. The Viper is the only person that's beating him on the map, and Viper still doesn't bring as much to the party. He's got trades, he's got Ring of Aquila, that's nice, but the mech is already done over on the Enigma, and at the rate that Aoi keeps farming up, he could potentially... Are you a fan of a Blink Dagger into this game, or would you prefer to see like a BKB? Considering I always
prefer Blink Dagger. But to be on the safe side of things, BKB makes sense. As for this game, though, yeah, I mean, Blink Dagger could work because there's so many things that shut down a BKB black hole. But the purpose of this game is that for him to just stay anchored, no matter what, so long as he just applies the threat of casting those spells, the enemy has to save their spells as well. And when you have this kind of advantage, all you have to do is just do like 1-1 equalization cancels. So it would make sense if he does BKB. I think the next big thing really is just Roshan, though. I mean, they seem to be poised to take it. I'm not sure if they're going to go in for it yet, but they are on the side, Dire side. And
it's trying to get Viper away. The Raw's already been used. The Axes are back on a cooldown, and Envy had no real mana to chase it out. And, well, Aoi wants to give it a shot.
Smart TP?
Moon's already TPing out to safety.
She
also flagged this weird thing in the middle lane. I wonder if Razor actually had an Invis rune or not. Because there was this weird movement where Centaur hoof stomped the middle, like this box right here on mid lane. And then Skywrath Mage followed up with the Mystic Flare. This is just before they're about to push in the middle lane. And the nearest person was just sitting back at the tier 1 tower watching it, and that was the Razor.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But it was, yeah,
actually, I vaguely recall, yeah, I remember that scene when the Centaur kind of just walked north from that point on.
Yeah. I was like watching it going...
I don't know what that was about.
Because there's no invits. In fact, just check the runes. It was Illusion and Haste Rune with the last two. Both were taken by Fader.
Also, maybe they killed off the illusion, thinking that like they went on it thinking that it was the actual Razor. I don't know.
Maybe. My eyes are getting tired at the end of this day, so all I saw was the end of it. Never got the full picture. Well, middle lane, Plaza Field, just chipping away at the creep wave. Trying to make it to the tower, at least directly attack into the Power Rangers lineup. And while all this is going on, Paradise has actually managed to find level 8 on this top lane. While Envy as well as Bone 7 are searching for another kill. So Envy's going to try and force the tier 1 tower. Fader again with the Plaza Field. His only job seems to be to keep that creep wave low in life. And now here's your move to bottom lane. The TP comes in from Moon. He still doesn't have this mech available. He's got to be careful because he's battling up against the Raw, not to mention Envy's jump in. So Moon, there goes your Hawk. They got the vision. Raw's being used first. They do have a Vortex available, but Envy, the second he sees the second TP coming in from the Lich, he just bailed out.
Yeah, that was actually a really, really hopeful
They
game.
got on Fader. Owie, the Mech Charge will go. The Lich ulti. It's going to bounce back down to the creep wave. Owie actually carrying it up a little bit further with his conversions. And that's going to keep their distance for now.
They're surprised to see that Envy didn't go for that Centaur there. I mean, Lich already threw down his ultimate, so long as he got the pull off, which he would have, that Centaur was toast. But in the end, they still go for that Roshan objective, which is just next to them because they are on the dire side. And they will get this without rebuttal because PR not only have to regen their heroes, but most importantly, the positioning is just not there. They have their Void in top lane, and he could TP mid, but that's going to delay everybody else's TPs. And on top of that, Cloud9 will just respawn by splitting them up once again. So this is just the dire advantage of choosing the better objectives and forcing the enemy movement out of it.
Is there
so yeah, looks like PR do want a contest, but I mean, Cloud9 should see this coming. Yeah, there it is.
They're going to back up. The conversions will show out, and Fader, she starts with the static link, but the Void comes in, gets the Chrono with the Horse Stomp and Mystic Flare. Fader is dead, and now he's caught in the edge of this Chrono as well. Midnight Pulse to start with. He has the Black Hole available, but no one really near him that he wants to use on, especially when the Centaur ulti is used like that. But Pylite die as well as Envy. They're focusing to bring down this Viper. Successful at doing so until Cheshire Cat blinks with a double edge, dishing out a large portion of damage. Envy just bought back straight away. Well, we just think will be the double kill in for Pylite die. There's no stun to stop Cheshire Cat's TP out. And while Shashlo, he's gone a very, very long way from home. Going up into the dire side jungle. He's about to lose his tier 1 tower in middle lane, and they leave Roshan injured and limping.
Structures are fortified.
Not for long, probably, though. As the mech is coming up on AUI once again, I would imagine they go for round 2 into the pit.
They got that as well as Vampiricore at level 3 from Pylite Eye. So I'm fairly certain that I have no problem with it whatsoever. I actually want to ask you something, and you don't have to answer this one because obviously it could be revealing some inside stuff for Cloud9. But are the boys trying to build up confidence at the moment? Because I've noticed that the Cloud9 that we've seen post TI4, now with Fader, seems to be a lot more timid during matches. Like Envy's not caught out of position as much as he used to be. He's being a little bit more cautious about what he jumps on.
I think it's just a change of pace after such a big tournament, as well as the leadership.
Fader.
But I'm gonna hold that thought.
He just jumped down for the regeneration rune and he got jumped on pretty heavily. He managed to take the regeneration rune, but lost his life.
At what cost?
one very, very heavy cost, his own life.
Yeah, his life.
And probably tier 1 tower.
Going back to that point overall, though, I mean, I'm not too sure exactly how it would look like to the outside point of view. But there has been a change in dynamic because you have acquired a new player who is a new core, and he brings like a different set of assets. You know, for one, like the communication, it's just like it's been shifted. Not so much a better or worse thing, but you know, we have somebody that's willing to share ideas more often. So it kind of alleviates the load off our MB, who is probably our biggest personality / talker right now. So yeah, it's that kind of thing, which allows people to focus more on their game.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace every now and then.
Well, for now, man, change your pace doesn't really come apart from a tier 1 tower dropping. It's still been rather passive and controlled play across the board.
So that's the follow-up, huh?
So I was not quite sure where to really go for that one.
that was good. I liked it. I just felt the need to point it out because it was refreshing, exhilarating, Toby. Very vibrant.
Yeah, well, what's exhilarating is watching the Chinese play. Those guys are murdering each other like no tomorrow. Yeah, we ended up having like 3 kills a minute coming out in a couple of the games today.
Oh man,
Good
can't wait
times.
till the next patch myself.
I never rely on a patch to change things, like for the better, because more than likely it'll always end up worse.
Tower is under attack.
Only at the start, and then people will begin to surface up with the bright smiley faces.
Only
but-
at the start. Man, this patch gave us Faceless Void and Skywrath Mage together.
Oh come on, it was refreshing change of pace.
It gave us the dullest TI ever.
Toby,
That's
you should
what
be
the
happy
patch
you got
gave
to
us.
see so much of Matt Damon.
Radiant's bottom
How-
tower is under attack.
Yeah, plenty of Matt Damon for you.
Yes. Yes, Matt Damon is fine. But in combination with the
Radiant's
Faceless
bottom
Void,
tower is under attack.
not as fine. Unless it's Universe's Void. I'm all for that. Love the way EG play right now. Alright,
Yeah.
so top lane is still trying to be held. Eternal Envy's waiting for a moment to jump. He's got this Hawk that's giving him vision. It's about a timeout. He does a short jump over towards Sashlo, just revealing the fact it's in the tree line, while Pylite Die is getting chipped away by Moon. Lenny, Pylite just keeps dropping lower and lower, which means Moon's able to get just that little bit more damage into him. And now, Hellfire Blast. There's still no follow-up. They're worried about the Chrono. Chrono or Mask of Madness. The second Envy jumps, he knows he's dead. So he needs somebody else. Or he just lets Fader do this. Fader is just playing around on the middle lane, pushing the tier 2 tower. While Envy's still got this Aegis the Immortal up his sleeve, and Wraith King actually lost his reincarnation. There's a level 2 reincarnation that just got triggered.
Yeah, PR should actually back right here. They got a little bit of what they were looking for. They're doing chip damage to the tower, which is okay, but most importantly, they made Wraith King basically waste his ultimate. And both teams are kind of forcing a standoff between each other, whereas Fada at the mid lane is actually pushing it out. So yeah, I think it's a wise decision that PR back out right about now. They're gonna start to lose stuff.
Fade just made the greatest choice of his life. Centaur, though, will catch up to him with the ulti. He used the Mystic Flare, but he's got Meg charge as well, the one charge as well as the bottle charges,
wow.
and they commit Chronosphere.
That's something.
It's like giving an opening to C9 just to push the top lane.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Storm.
about.
He got close to Moon, but it feels like a bait, especially when Cheshire Cat's able to get a double hoof stomp on that one. The roll will come out. Storm's coming back to life again. Moon will be brought down. With both Midnight Pulse as well as the Hellfire Blast there to cover him. But Envy had to burn the Aegis in order for that to work. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off. But the tier 2 tower did take a large amount of damage in mid. It's at 81 life points now.
Yeah, in the end, it seemed like both teams were kind of throwing bodies at each other for a moment there. But yeah, that Chrono could have been a real game changer at top lane. I mean, granted, Cloud9 might have not taken the opportunity to push in harder or deeper if they didn't see the Chronosphere. But I mean, there was no TP. The Razor was moving fast. He just got slowed by concussive. Centaur's blink was coming up in like 4 seconds. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I'm just enjoying this item build over on Eternal Envy. A Yule Scepter Storm
Oh dear,
Spirit.
he's done it again. He's revisited and reinvented his Storm Spirit build. What began with the Soul Ring and Tranquils is no longer, because Tranquils is not as good anymore. But then the Yule Scepter is just a fantastic item this patch, and I guess he felt the need to get it on his Storm Spirit.
I think he also realized too that his Storm Spirit wasn't being as successful as he probably wanted. So waiting around for a side device would take too long. But something like a Yule Scepter this early on is going to be perfect up against a non-BKB Faceless Void. Even Moon, like, throw a Viper Strike out, you can send yourself up into the air for the first initial dodge. And you might even be able to save yourself from the Skywrath Mage burst damage too.
Oh yeah, there are certainly a lot of applications. I mean, the Skywrath Silence gets completely purged off by the Yule Scepter, so that's one thing. But my theorem always has been the best cure is prevention. And while this Yule's item gives him a lot of mana regen, which allows him to just sit off the map and farm the jungle, which is essentially what a Storm should be doing most of the time, the Orchid allows you to get that kill potential as well. Although with Yules, you can take out a lot of squishy targets as well. I mean, I don't doubt the decision. I just think it's an Eternal Envy thing to do.
I can't believe how much time has been wasted right now by Power Rangers. They're trying to force out towers, but as you see right there, a level 3 Necrobook has now come up for Bone 7. The Enigma's walking around soon with a full BKB. It's back in the Statue of Aoi right now. Sorry, that's Fader, as well as Aoi. In fact, they both have their BKBs up and running. And Pilot Eye has just spent a large amount of money too. He had I thought I actually clicked on him, he had 3,000 gold, but it's a, yeah, he did, it's a Blink Dagger. He purchased a Blink Dagger with the Blade Mail, still has 1.1k. Like, there's so much money coming into Cloud9, and they all have items which are going to allow them to fight even better during this mid-game. Even the Storm Spirit, because of that Yule Scepter of his.
Yeah, you know what? It almost seems like I see hesitation on the part of Power Rangers, the way they play right now. It's like they're not fully committing to aggression, but they pick the right heroes for the scenarios to happen. And at the same time, the way they're playing so scared, it just seems like they have some sort of a mental block. I almost feel like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to like choosing like the opposing team's playstyle, which is Cloud9, just splitting the enemy up, versus a Navi style where you just you don't 5-man as much, but you put on a ton of aggression, just go for kills non-stop. And I'm not sure if they themselves are convinced about their playstyle. It seems like they're kind of uncertain with their movements, and it's hurting them a lot. As you said, wasting time is something that they've been doing, unfortunately.
And they can't waste time up against such a lineup. Like, you can talk about the great combination of a Faceless Void with the Centaur and the Viper, but these heroes are going to drop off a lot more than the Cloud9 lineup, because you're still going to have Raw that's going to go through the immunity. Oh, leap away, and then leap the other direction. Try and make them run as far as they possibly can. Yeah, but you got Beastmaster Raw, you got Enigma with his Black Hole. Like, these are two fantastic abilities for the late portion of the game. You got a Wraith King, who's also one of the greatest initiators in the later portion of the game, because he just soaks up so much, especially when you're able to get a large amount of farm into him like they have on Pile Die. And then you've also got Storm for the jump initiation, jump out. All about the pick-off. Cheshire Cat, by the way, being picked off. The Necro units have already been summoned up by Bone 7. They're trying to burn off the mana, and Cheshire Cat just runs himself away with the ultimate. The Moon, he's not looking as pretty in the position. But they all have to back up. But yeah, the lineup of C9, it just seems to be so much more effective going into that mid to late game, which is what we're approaching rapidly.
Yeah. It's already begun ever since that first blood with the double kill, essentially, because they got the courier as well. And it just cripples so many lanes because of the lack of courier usage, as well as the fact that it was their mid laner that died who rushed bottom. Just nothing's really going their way at the moment. Then I would imagine they want to wait for the next forced engagement, which would be the next objective at Roshan. But they're not going to have an advantage there either. It just seems like for them to put the pieces together, what they have to do is they have to show two heroes, but they have to be really risky with the showing. So it could possibly mean that they cross the river and die. But they have three heroes that are smoked, and they get like a critical kill on a core just before Roshan spawns or something. And even then, I would say it only delays the inevitable more than anything else. So I think they're just in a really tough spot, and I don't really know what can pull them out of their little hole that they've dug for themselves.
The only thing I would flag would be bad positioning by Cloud9. But in order to punish that, you got to have really good vision up yourself. And
yeah.
Right now,
and also you have to look at the pattern. Like this game, you know, they haven't been too out of line with their movements, especially as the game goes on. This is a team that really just improves because most of the time their drafts are oriented this way. So it's gonna be rough for them.
Well, I'm just waiting to see the extra vision from Power Rangers, because right now the warding is heavily focused towards the dire side jungle. So we got one on the cliff watch in the top rune and one a little bit deeper inside the jungle. But beyond that, okay, we actually have a fresh one around the Roche pit. So they're also noticing that's obviously going to be one of the next big key objectives. But Cloud9 have vision watching from top room to bottom room, and the rest of the creep waves giving him vision on the other side of the river. It's very difficult for Power Rangers to surprise Cloud9 right now.
Yeah, these wards, I mean, I guess they're doing a little bit just by showing who's where and what. But it's just not going so much for them because they have no intention of invading the Cloud9 jungle anytime soon. They know they can't take a fight on the enemy side of the map, and at the same time Cloud9, not only can they probably take a fight on the enemy side of the map on the Radiant jungle, but they also will probably choose not to and just push out more lanes and use that fear that's already instilled in the Power Rangers lineup to their advantage. Pile
is probably going to die pretty shortly. Cheshire Cat was looking at him, but they're going to back up. Especially with Bone 7 rotating down, we just think the Necro units are killing him off for the moment, while Envy dies in the opposite lane. The Lich Jolly will bounce around and Bone 7's minions turn against him. It ends up being a 2-for-1 trade-off. Envy dying up here next to the Observer or the Radiant side. Meanwhile, Pile
Did the Void solo him up?
Sorry?
Did the Void solo him up?
No, he had help. Oh, you mean up on top lane?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was watching the engagement in the Radiant jungle, so I have no answer for you.
If he did with the chrono, that might really just be a Yules thing. I mean, the thing with Yules is if you get it off before the chrono, which is hard because the Void might just be able to react in time and not cast it until you come back. then the purpose of the Yules is defeated. The other thing is Yules, it doesn't give you any innate survivability in terms of raw stats. So you can go down to a Chronosphere pretty easily. I think the Storm's only like 900 HP at this point in the game. Yeah, 853. He's a really easy kill for a Chronosphere Void. I think he needs to tank up some bit.
At the same time, he does have 3.1k gold on him, so if he does want to tank up, he could pick up that ultimate orb pretty surely.
Let's see. It seems like a Mystic Staff, judging by the way he's moving. Oh, no, he just wants to get into the pit. Never mind.
I think he's the man picking up the Aegis Immortal. If he picked up an ultimate orb right now, you have to drop Bottle, Soul Ring, or TP Scroll. Yeah. I got a funny feeling Evie doesn't want to lose either of, or any of those.
Looks like he wants a Bloodstone.
Oh, yes, he did.
I think I like that line of thought here. He just needs to be able to stay alive in these fights to do work. Because he's not looking to burst anybody, and disables on heroes like Viper and Centaur don't help that much. It's mainly the Void, and the Void is probably going to be the initiator for the enemy team, so you just have to be able to react, and what best reaction than just being too tanky to die.
He could still be picking up that Soul Booster. Like, I know he might want to be saving for buyback, but you got an Aegis Immortal up your sleeve. Like, normally when you get an Aegis, you think, well, I'm good to go.
Yeah, he should definitely pick up the Soul Booster. Yeah, there's no need for buyback right now.
Yeah. Just sitting now at 2.6k. He maybe just wants to buy the straight Bloodstone, but then again, why would you deprive yourself of a higher mana and life pool?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see that as well. He does probably want a TP scroll as well. I'm not sure if he's gonna wait to just expend the Aegis or try to use it as an excuse to push really deep and force enemies back instead of having a TP. I think it's gonna be the latter. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the latter. He's just gonna push in really deep. I think it's better to just sell the Soul Ring though, or actually the bottle rather. But
Pilot Eye, you don't want to be going into this one. It's bait right now, and Sashlo, he knows it, but he wants more than just the Wraith King. A Frost Blast, a Hoof Stomp with a double edge, they'll break him down, but in comes Aurora and the Viper and Fader, stealing that damage out. Pilot goes down, but the slow's going to be there. The Centaur ulti are giving them a little bit extra movement speed. With Fader, 196 points of stolen damage. He's looking for a hero to hit it into, and the Faceless Boy is the primary target. Bone 7 sealed up. He couldn't get the Axis off in time. We just buys the extra space, including the concussive shot too. But the Axis come off cooldown at the same time, leap into the tree line. Pido won't be able to catch him off, but J4, well, that's not a pretty sight for him. Walks point blank range up against a Razor with an Aghanim Scepter. But PR, they got out of that fairly unscathed compared to what it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for sure. Eternal Envy actually walked all the way through bottom towards mid and then came top with his ultimate. And now he sees the regen rune now, which if he saw earlier, it might have been able to catch it on another target or two based on his jumps with the regen. But in the end, as you said, Power Rangers, they shouldn't be too sad about their losses because they were committed so deep and didn't lose that much in comparison to what they could have. So there's the Soul Booster completed now with the regen rune, so it's going to be a full mana and full HP Storm coming in. And this push, Toby, is looking really scary, even though Cloud9 don't have all their ultimates.
They have the big one, man. They have a Blink BKB Black Hole. That's what's available right now, and without Chrono, Lich Ulti is the only thing that's going to be stopping this. So Lich must be held back.
Bold.
Yeah, he has no ultimate. He's been doing this more and more, man. I'd like to not call him out, but still, it's been happening more and more. Moon being controlled for a moment. Fader will TP himself out. The Eye of the Storm just tickled them as they went past in the lane. But Bone 7 is well away from here. And with the Blink Dagger coming off cooldown, it'll be even further. Yeah, but it just seems like Pilot Eye always seems to be on the front lines, or in a very unusual position, saying, I'm here to kill, I'm just trying to find where you are.
Yeah, I think he's very impatient as a person, and I'll just leave it at that. You know, his bloodthirstiness is, sometimes it gets out of hand, and that's just one of the results.
Is that really how we look at this? Paladai is a bloodthirsty player.
Yeah, he's a hungry player, man. Did you see him? He looks all anorexic and stuff. He's very lean.
Well, technically that just means he doesn't eat a lot. He might go hunting, but doesn't get a lot to eat.
Sadly. And that, well, one of the reasons, I mean, you saw there, I mean, he hunted, but ain't no food on the plate there.
Oh, poor Paladai. Well, looks like MV full Bloodstone is now completed. He's stuck at the Aegis Immortal for a little bit longer. But they haven't really found any charges up on this sucker just yet. And there's no real opportunities for it either. Like J4, I still get very upset about a hand of Midas Lich in these games. But that's exactly what he built into.
You know, I used to think that way as well, but honestly, this Lich hero, like, so long as somebody else is covering the mech on your team, like, you really don't have very many good item transitions. Like, you could buy a 4-staff, and what would happen is you would just buy a 4-staff, and that would be your end game. So I don't mind this Midas decision. I think it has like very little implications on this gameplay overall. If anything, I would just think that he didn't play too well in the sense that he had
He needs a lot more help than this. The Necro units, man, they are a lot of help. The Meg charge there from Moon, and now, ow, he got 2! He got Moon on the edge of it! As well as Shashlo, smack bang in the middle of it, turns into the Maleficents with the Midnight Pulse. Moon cannot run through that and survive. And they actually get the double kill at the end of the day over to Bone 7. And it'll all go probably into his Let's Buy an Aghanims fund. But a big grab there from Aoi. Turns what could have been a very easy escape into a good kill.
Now Eternal Envy's pushing out the mid lane with his abundance of mana and proceeding to farm the jungle in the meantime. Paladai is farming the bottom jungle as well, and there was a substantial force of units pushing into the top lane, but as soon as the Necrobolts have faded into the ground, so have the push. The Eidolons are now banging away at the tower, but doing decent damage actually. It's about to put it into deny range.
I want to do something about that. They don't really want. They don't want to deny the tower.
Just very casual.
Maybe PR won't have the option of denial. Doesn't really make.
I don't know.
Sense,
I think they really want every bit of help they can get right now. And those towers, they do a fair bit of damage, and offer a good presence. I think they needed that tower to not be in deny range. I don't think it matters too much at this point in the game either, but it's something they should have focused a little bit more, I feel.
Whoa, what
well,
did I miss?
Aegis the Immortal is now gone, so goodbye Eternal Envy's lifeline. But at the amount of time he had that Aegis the Immortal, he still managed to get like his Bloodstone as well as having extra 2k gold on him.
Yeah.
That's very, very useful.
He's just so much better than just an extra life. The presence it gives your hero, and especially with this metagame where all these big ultimates are coming in, like people are hesitant to use Chronos just to kill you because they have no responses afterwards and stuff like that. It's just such a nice item. That Centaur though, he's very tanky. I don't know if Envy can take him down.
He can with help. Fader's on the way in right now. They'll have to get the perfect static link off, and now there's your jump. Gotta wait for Fader to arrive before he goes for this grab, and that's when this happens. And he knew it was gonna happen, but Maleficent from Aoi 2000, Midnight Pulse cleans up the tree line. Also, look at his damage being his life points being removed so quick. And Envy will jump up and finish the job. Even Bone 7 was coming down, just extra security. So the Centaur's on the sideline for 60 seconds. He has no ultimate to lend his team as well. And he's also short of buyback. He's short by 495 gold.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough situation to get out, but I feel like what the Centaur should have done there is just, as soon as he, I mean, he didn't even have to pop the Stampede, but if he chose to do so, he should just force staff in the direction and try to TP, because the only stun in that gank was Envy's pull. Oh, never mind, there's a Yosef there, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, there was no way he was getting out of that.
When you have 4 players from C9 attacking into you, I don't think it really matters how tanky you are, but Envy's actually going to be careful himself. That Faceless Void's around there, he goes a very, very long way across. Now he's also in the neighborhood, now the TP, speed T's on the back of the Tinker, so Bone 7 using himself to go everywhere, and then the Raw to Void. They need to keep that control up, and wow!
That burst?
It's really crazy how much damage they dish out with Necro, with Envy, with Bone.
Honestly, this Beastmaster hero with Necrobook is so underrated. Like, that attack speed buff, it's comparable to what a Lycan would give in terms of just natural buffs to his units. It's incredible. And if Beastmaster ever builds flats, which they usually don't because their item progression is kind of difficult, those Necrobooks, they take down heroes alone, literally.
Radiant's top tower
well, maybe we'll see him come back a little bit more into the meta. I wouldn't mind it. Right now, I'd like to just see Bone 7 get back on the hero as he disconnects back out again. Are they actually? Is he back in Romania?
Patch. Pardon me?
Is he back in Romania?
Oh yeah, of course.
All the C9 guys are going home. There's no boot camping right now, right?
I mean, I'm sure he would have loved to stay in America, but you know, Bone 7 versus the Embassy, that usually don't go in C9's favor, so I don't think he wants to risk anything silly. Just remain in the seclusion of his home and be a good boy until the next big land comes up so he doesn't get denied.
Man, Owie, where the hell is he pulling this money from? He's actually the highest net worth on the map right now. 1 kill and 9 assists. It pays to be a support hero right now at 15,000 net worth. Envy, quick jump away from Moon, so no chance to get that Viper Strike off. But he's able to put up a Lincoln Sphere with his BKB, as well as the Blink Dagger. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that actually makes it so Chrono is the only thing on this map. Unless they trigger the Lincoln Sphere before that. Actually, no, even then, that won't work. Does the mini stun from Lich go through the Lincolns, or does it trigger Lincolns?
No, it doesn't. It procs the Lincolns.
Okay.
And even like regardless of the Chrono being able to break that hole or not right now, what happens is this Enigma's still going to be able to withstand all the damage they throw at him. So overall, it's just a lose-lose situation for whatever PR do at this point if they decide to jump on Enigma exclusively.
I'm wondering too if he might be giving over this Lincoln Sphere protection to someone like Eternal Envy when he jumps in. Like,
That'd be nice.
Because Fate is at the point where I don't think he really cares. Like, he just picks up a Shiva's guy with his BKB and Aghanims. So, Razor's looking tanky enough as it is. But your Storm Spirit keeps putting himself at risk with every single jump in, where you have a blank BKB.
You know, it's also a weird fact, but I always have it over the last hits denies board. And I don't think I've ever seen a game where just before 40 minutes, there's 8 heroes on the map that's over 100 CS. This is a very farm-intensive game. I didn't even realize. Everybody's farming. Even Pilot, he's about to have an AC on his Wraith King support.
Well, right now he's going to use that Wraith King support to help kill off the Sky Wrath mates. The Chrono's going to be blowing, and right now Envy, he's on the edge of it. But Owie lines up the black hole. He actually got 3 in this one, dragging Moon up the cliffside, and then back into the engagement. The mech charges to go, and Power Rangers, this is not the fight they were searching for. They end up losing 3 heroes. They bought back on the Centaur. And this all happened at the same time that Roshan's alive, while on bottom lane, Vader has taken the melee racks and continues just this man fight up against the rest of Power Rangers. All up on top lane, Bone 7 is now bringing down the melee racks up on the top. So they may kill off the Razor, but they've just lost their top racks, and they'll lose the entire shebang. There's a Blink and a Force Staff available, and they just call it. They're being poked and prodded from all sides, and they say, no more, no more. I'm checking out this doctor surgery. And they'll come back here for game number 2 in just a couple of moments. But, yeah.
Very difficult uphill battle for them ever since the get-go. I mean, the mid lane just going the way it did with that first Enigma gank at 5 minutes, not going for them because they lost the courier and the hero. And ever since then, they had way too difficult of a time to find their spot in the game.
Well, I'm hoping Power Rangers actually play the lineup, which I know they play the best, which is aggro.
What's that?
It's aggressive. It's get heroes
yes.
which don't just sit back and wait for timing. You get yourself on the front foot and you start beating the crap out of people. That's the way they got themselves so far up in this group.
Yeah.
And
Ancient Apparition, Core VS, that kind of stuff.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about, because with this loss, they've just opened up basically the top 2, like the second position again. Team Empire is the only team next to Fnatic which could potentially take that right now. So, well, it's going to be an interesting run, Power Rangers, and will they actually give a 0-2 and get Cloud9 back in contention for the top 5 position? Stay tuned, we'll find out together. We'll be back for game number 2 in just a moment.